All right, let me take you boys and girls back. It was just another race weekend. Me and old Hawkins in a room here. We picked up the bikes. We loaded them in an old moto van, and we were going to head out to get on a road to see our friends at Utah SBA with some pure intentions of sending it and having a good time. We were racing hard. We were riding even harder. We were laughing even harder. And we were out there living and just having a good old time. And while we were doing that, some buffoon back in Vegas was plotting to take everything I built while I was gone. They didn't kick down the damn door like amateurs know. They were quiet, they were calculated, and it looks like they picked the lock and they knew what they were looking for, and it might have not even been random. They turned my home upside down. They stole my safe. They took the keys to all of my cars. They cleaned out over $200,000 in cash. They snatched every luxury timepiece that I owned. And they even had the damn audacity to take my girl's PlayStation. And honestly, that was the worst part. In a single day, $200,000 in cash gone, $200,000 in watches, and they stole my Mercedes AMG and wrecked the damn house on the way out. All said and done, 24-hour period, I lost $500,000. Now, let's be honest. Most people would lose their shit at this point. They would scream, they would cry, they would panic. They would call every friend that they have. They would post a 45-minute breakdown on social media. Hell, I thought I would too. But to be frank with you, I stood there in all this wreckage and I felt nothing. There was no shock. There was no anger. There was no fear, not even any adrenaline. That night, I went in there after the cops left at about 10:30 at night and I slept 10 hours. The next morning, I hit the gym. I got my work done. And I pushed forward like it was just another Tuesday. The question that I asked myself, looking back at it, was how the hell did I do it? And that was a really good question. And I've spent the last couple of days thinking about my answer because I wasn't in denial. It wasn't numbness. It wasn't some type of bravado. The truth is, I built a version of myself that I don't really measure who I am based off the possessions I have. So what I've become as an individual can't be stolen. You can take the car, you can take the cash, you can take the watches, hell, you can take the damn PlayStation. But what you can't take is the skills I've developed after a decade of pressure. You can't take the resilience forged in the dark seasons of my life, and you can't take the mindset that's been calibrated through tons of adversity, success, loss, sacrifice, and discipline. Because that's the thing. You don't rise to your possessions. You rise to your identity. And my identity has been built in adversity, not pleasure. See, the real reason I didn't freak out and completely break down is pretty simple. I never let my possessions define me. They're just extensions. They're tools. They're not me. And once you finally make enough money to buy all the expensive shit you ever want, you realize the dopamine eventually wears off anyways, and none of the possessions mean shit anyways. Deep down, I knew every single thing that they stole, I could replace with a few clicks. But most importantly, I could rebuild all of it faster than I ever did before. And that's not just because I know how to make money, but it's because I understand the game of money. I understand attention, I understand leverage, I understand execution. So here's my little public prediction. I'm gonna make back $500,000 in the next 30 to 60 days. And I'm not gonna just make it back, I'm gonna document for all of you guys to watch just how I make it back. Not just to prove a point, but to show you what happens when you develop the right skill sets. Because this isn't about me. It's about what's possible when you stop letting life define you and start defining it for yourself. If I can rebuild and make $500,000 in the next 30 to 60 days while staying calm, focused, and at peace, you can too. And I'm gonna prove it to you right here on this channel publicly so no one can ignore it, because pain is inevitable and how you respond to that pain, that is your power. Now let me pause and speak directly towards the cowards who did this. I know you're probably watching, I know you probably been scoping me, and old rats always come back to sniff the little crumbs. You want to see if I'm broken, you want to see if I folded. I didn't, I won't, and I never will. So listen carefully, because this part's for you. You didn't win, you lost. And you lost because you broke into my house. Cool. I'm still standing, I'm still working, I'm still winning. You stole my watches, I bought 3 more. You took my car, we've got an Aston Martin and a Z06 on the way. You think you're clever, you're not. You're not strategic, you're not dangerous, you're desperate, and I get it, because desperation breeds delusion. But don't confuse access with power, because you didn't take power in this case, you just took stuff. And while you're out there bragging about your little score, I've replaced all the shit you took in 72 hours, because here's the truth. You're living small, you're thinking small, and you're playing the shortest, dumbest game on the freaking planet. You're not building anything. You're breaking shit like children. You're not hustling, you're hiding. You're not wolves, you're sheep. And matter of fact, you're little rats at the very bottom of the totem pole that's trying to take from people that actually delivered value in the marketplace. See, one day you're gonna realize how your cheap little score, how wise it really was. Because what's gonna happen is you traded your freedom for instant gratification. You literally traded your freedom for some cash, some watches, a used Mercedes. Congratulations. You sold your future to a fucking Rolex. Is that what your life is worth? Let me tell you something else. Real power, it doesn't hide in the dark. It builds in the open. It earns, it commands, and instead of tearing down other men's buildings, it focuses on building its own. You probably won't because you don't know how to. No one taught you, no one showed you, and maybe the world never gave you a shot. But that doesn't make you dangerous, it makes you pathetic. Because if you had DM'd me instead of robbing me, I might have helped you, because your boy old Dakota is Captain Save-A-Ho. And I would have showed you how to make real money, not fast money, not dirty money, but money that stacks, money that lasts, and money that buys you and your family a future instead of buying you a cell block. No break-ins, no mask, no mugshots, just mindset, discipline, and mastery of a skill, and relentless freaking execution. That's what creates real value in the world. But you guys chose your shortcut, and the shortcut always comes with a price. Now, let me flip the cameras and speak to the rest of you that are watching this that didn't rob me. Because this story, it's not about watches, it's not about cars, it's not about the $500,000, and it's not about me sitting here acting tough. This message is about you, because this is about what happens when your life gets hit. Because this isn't a robbery story, it's a power story, it's a pressure story. This is a story about preparation, because most people walk through life praying that nothing ever goes wrong. I don't. I expect it to go wrong, I look for it to go wrong, and I mitigate the risk. Because when you expect chaos and you can actually prepare for it, you're never surprised for it, because nothing can faze you. So let me tell you something real. The game of life, it is freaking brutal. It doesn't care about how rich you are. It doesn't care about how many followers you have on Instagram. It doesn't care about your family, your emotions, and it doesn't care about how good of a person you think you are. Eventually, you are going to get hit. You're going to get absolutely blindsided, betrayed, tested, and when that moment comes, the question won't be, why me? It'll be, what the hell are you made of on that particular day? The day that I came home and saw the aftermath, it revealed something that most people will never understand. It showed me that I've exposed myself to so much stress in my life. I've taken so many hits and overcome so much adversity that it didn't even register as pressure. It felt like noise. Why? Not because I'm special, not because I'm invincible, not because of any of that. It's because I trained myself to become unshakable under pressure. I engineered a version of me that didn't crack under weight. It grows stronger. And everything that they took, replaceable. Everything I learned in the moment, quite frankly, priceless. So if life has been beating you down lately, if you feel blindsided, backstabbed, broken, or burned, don't fold, don't flinch. Don't sit there and marinate in victimhood. I want you to get up, I want you to lock in, and I want you to go build something that can't be taken from you. Not a car, not a house, not even a brand. I'm talking about building you, a weaponized version of you. Mentally sharp, emotionally disciplined, financially bulletproof, and spiritually indestructible. If you don't know where to start, you're in the right place. This channel is not about flexing or bragging. It is about forging dangerous men that go out and become killers in the marketplace. It's about warproofing your mind, and it is about mastering your emotions and evolving into the person capable of getting the results that you actually want. So hit that subscribe button, stick around, because I'm about to take this $500,000 loss and turn it into $1 million comeback right in front of you. Watch me, study. We're going to document the entire process. We're coming for it all. Be great, stay hard, and remember, every setback is just another setup for a comeback. Let's go, baby.